And she just goes, oh, well, it's desire. I was like, what do you mean it's desire? And she goes, yeah, that whole thing written at the top, that's a thing. It's backwards. And I pulled out my phone and I typed it out, and I just couldn't believe that I had missed something that once you know it's there, you can't not. I can't see it. Every time I look right at the word Erised, and I'm like, desire. You can see it backwards. It's the clearest word on that thing.
When Harry looks in the mirror, when he finally walks up to it, he sees a ton of people behind him, and is like, oh! And turns around, and there's nobody fucking there. And he turns back, and they're there. One of them's a lady with dark red hair, and the same green eyes that he has. And there's a man next to her with his arm around her, with the same dark, untidy hair and glasses that he has. And he's like, holy shit.
I did chuckle a little bit when at first he thought it was a room full of invisible people like him.
Yeah, how terrifying would that be to be like, oh my god, are they around me all the time? Am I surrounded by invisible people, like, a lot?
That definitely would have freaked me out. Like, for real.
Who says you're not?
Dun, dun, dun.
So, Harry realizes who the people are in the mirror, and he looks at this woman. He sees that she's smiling, but she's crying too.
Yeah, he's looking at all of these strangers, and he's picking out the little pieces of himself in each one of them, and he's looking at his family for the first time, and every single time that I read it, I start to cry, because it makes me think about you. And it used to make me cry in a totally different way than it does now.
Yeah, there was a big parallel for me in this book, because me being adopted and stuff, having Harry see his parents for the first time is just like, it's getting me right now, man.
I know. I can see it.
Yeah, so that kind of broke my heart to read, but I love that part.
I know. I've literally watched you see yourself for the first time in people, and it is...
Seeing people that look like you for the first time is a fucking trip. I've never looked like anybody in my whole life, so my birth family surprised me with a giant get-together, and so I got to see everyone for the first time, and to see a whole room full of people that look like you was... Harry's got to be emotionally wrecked right now. If he's not, I don't have anything in common with that kid. Because, this would be a earth-shattering thing for somebody to just happen across one day. For real.
I love you. That whole scene, though, it just makes me think about you, like, looking at that picture of your dad and your brother. That very first picture that we saw.
I remember watching you at the get-together, standing up there with you.
Yeah, that was kind of a crazy day. So, the other points I had about it were, I can't personally believe that he didn't try to talk to him more. He says, Mom, Dad, and then they just kind of stare at each other, and he's content just looking at the mirror. If it were me, why are we just weirdly staring at each other? Doesn't make any sense.
I feel like that's part of the magical properties of the mirror. It makes you content in what you're looking at and pulls you in to the point where you're not going to pull away.
Half terrible sadness, half joy.
When he leaves that first night, that must have been super hard for him.
Yeah.
Right.
To, because it literally says he had to, remove his eyes from his mom's face. That would have taken a lot, just of willpower to do.
It did make me wonder about the Potter side of the family, because apparently Harry's the last surviving member. We never hear about any of the other Potters. They never ever come up. But here's an entire side of a family that he looks like. So it just made me wonder, did some really weird tragedy befall all the Potters? Why have we never heard that he's the last one?
Potters die young.
Yeah. Because we just come back and Ron's like, the fuck? Why didn't you tell me? Or Harry's like, don't worry about it. You can come with me tonight because we're going back tonight. It's not even a question in his brain. He's for sure going back.
Right. Ron doesn't really seem like he cares that much about seeing Harry's family, because I think Ron has a lot of family. I'm not saying he doesn't care about his family, but he has a ton of family, and Harry doesn't have any. So family is a really big deal to Harry, whereas family is just kind of a given for Ron. He goes anyway. He's like, well, yeah, I'm not going to just not go see it. You're obviously taking me with you on this next adventure, even if he's not that interested.
Yeah, and Harry's already not eating and obsessing to the point where he doesn't care about Flamel or anything else that's going on. He just wants to go back to the mirror, which is, like, clearly unhealthy.
The one defense I had for Harry in this instance was after I met my birth family, I was kind of shook. The first time, like, I had spoken with my birth mom, that wrecked me for, like, a day, maybe two. I was thinking about some stuff. So
It kind of gets into the power of this mirror a little bit because he's already, like, he can't eat and he's only thinking about it.
It goes way past emotional trauma to completely obsessed in a night.
And they head back.
It takes him a whole hour just walking because it's so much harder to maneuver under the cloak.
I think it had something to do with his obsessing over the mirror too. He doesn't remember where it was exactly, but he knows that he's going to go find it. So he will wander that fucking castle as long as it takes to find it.
He stumbled on it to begin with, so now he's, like, trying to kind of retrace his steps, not knowing where he was.
But he doesn't give a shit about his friend's feet because we're going to find that fucking mirror. And you're going to like, I don't care if you're whining, we're going.
He's getting a little pissy about it.
Why doesn't Filch or Mrs. Norris come across? I know they're under the cloak and everything, but they're still making noise and talking and things like that. And they hear everything, one way or another, as far as the book is gone.
I think that so far, Filch has either been lucky or been tipped off when he's heard things. And the castle is large. So I think at nighttime he's wandering. But I think also that has to do with why it takes them an hour, because they're not being super noisy at this point. They're still trying to be sneaky.
Right. And it also points out again how cold it actually is in the castle. They can see their breath. And Ron is complaining because his feet are going numb because it's so cold in the castle.
Right.
Yeah, it's a hard pass on that one. I don't know. I'm not about cold.
That is more than just a little chill. That is fucking cold, man.
Mm-mm.
And honestly, I mean, as much as you love your friend, I don't know if at 11 I would care. I'd be like, dude, I get it. Okay, you want to see your dead parents. I, though, want to go to bed. I thought it would be cool. I did. I signed up for this, but you know what? I'm regretting it. Can we turn around now?
Well, there's no way Harry's going to turn around.
Right.
He literally runs to the mirror in excitement when he sees it.
Yeah.
He can't even hold it together to show his buddy, look, this is the thing that I found. He just bolts right when they get in the room. So he's asking Ron, can you see him? And Ron's like, I don't see shit. So he gets in front of the mirror, and Ron sees himself as a goddamn hero.
Super Ron.
Right.
He's like, does this show the future, dude? And Harry's like, well, not quite.
Quidditch cup, house cup, and head boy. You don't fuck with the Ron.
They start fighting and getting possessive over the mirror, like, really quickly. Like, it takes them not even 5 minutes, and they're, like, fighting over it.
They both want to see what they want to see. Apparently, they can't both look into it at the same time. Like, stand next to each other, idiots, was kind of my thought.
Yeah, if neither one of you could see the other person's thing, why does it matter?
Yeah, if it's a magic fucking mirror, then share, babies. But I suppose if it is driving you crazy, you're not thinking logically.
You're like, fuck you.
Right, it's screwing with your head at this point. They hear a noise, and they realize that they're being loud. And Mrs. Norris comes creeping in. The thing that got me was she hangs out for a while, and it's a really intense moment, and then she walks away. But cats can see really well at night. And even if they're invisible, a cat will use its nose just as much as its eyes. I don't believe for a second that Mrs. Norris would have missed them being in there.
No, I think she probably has at least a very good idea that something is weird in that room. And that's why Ron is not dumb for pulling Harry out.
Right. That was the right move. It was time to go.
Why would they leave the door open anyway?
Because they're dumb and 11.
That probably lends more to the obsession, too. Harry wasn't thinking, and Ron probably didn't care enough at that point because his feet were fucking cold and he just wanted to go to bed. And by the third night, he's going by himself and he's getting reckless. And he's just kind of like running on the way there and making whatever noise he makes.
Yeah, he's completely balls to the wall now. Ron even asked him not to go, which I kind of think was because Ron wanted to go the second night and not have Harry be in his way. But even if that's not the reason, Harry's being reckless now.
He says he doesn't feel right about it. There's something not right about the mirror. And I think he kind of senses it. And as a friend, he's seeing him not eating, not interested in doing anything with anyone else. He just wants to be in front of the mirror. And I think Ron sees that. I think he sees this path that Harry's going down. It's a little dangerous road, like an addiction. Can't get enough of it.
I didn't really see it that way, but now that you say it, I can see your point, and I think it's valid.
I kind of agree with you too, because I think that Ron, he got a hit of it, but I don't think it affected him the same way, or I don't think he got as strong of a hit, because his was just about getting the glory. And while he wants that, it's not as like imperative to his core being as it is to Harry, that Harry finds his family. Ron can still find his sense of self without being the head boy. Harry needs to know his family.
I think a part of it is that Ron's vision in the mirror is still achievable. If he really wanted it bad enough, he could get all of those things.
Right.
But what Harry saw in the mirror is in no way possible. That's
Lost,
all he's ever going to have. It's
lost
just
potential.
Right. It's only a vision in a mirror. He can't actually get those people back no matter what. So it's much more of a big deal to Harry. What he's getting is impossible right now.
Yeah.
So Harry comes tooling through the castle recklessly, sneaks in again. He sees his family again. And then, out of the silence, somebody speaks to him.
Fucking Dumby.
Double D.
The big D.
He's like, strange how nearsighted being invisible can make you.
I'm pretty sure Harry would have shit himself.
Oh, yeah. It's not just any teacher. It's the fucking headmaster.
What I think is pretty awesome is Dumbledore, as awesome as he is. I don't need cloaks to be invisible.
He never elaborates on what that means, or if he just has like weird cameras, like magic cameras placed everywhere in the school. He's like, I've been spying on you.
He's asking Harry, does he finally realize what the mirror is doing? And then proceeds to tell Harry what Harry has been seeing, but then also what Ron had saw. How does Dumbledore see what they saw when Harry couldn't see what Ron saw and Ron couldn't see what Harry saw?
And that's why his line about being invisible doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Because it wouldn't have mattered if he was invisible, because he wouldn't have seen those.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think he might have been in the room and invisible. Both times Harry was in there previously, he heard a noise before he decided to hightail it. The second time, he was so transfixed on the mirror, he didn't even hear it. Ron heard it and dragged his ass out of there.
Okay, all right, we can go.
I think.
We can go on this thread, okay? Because he says that in the mirror is neither knowledge nor truth, and that it is being moved. Don't go looking for it. But if you see it again, you're going to be prepared. So, if you think that Dumbledore has been sitting in there for the last 3 days, watching Harry like a fucking creeper, silently, just staring at the fucking mirror, then why? He's trying to prepare Harry? We're going to have to get to the end of the book. Like, I don't know that we can talk about all this until the end of the book. But, is he preparing Harry then? Is he trying to set it all up? There are fan theories out there I have read.
Could be, but I do have a theory about what Dumby is doing right now. I think he is watching in ways. I don't know how. He's the headmaster of a magical school. He's probably got a trick or two up his sleeve to make sure that this thing is running the way it should. I think he was aware of Harry catching all this shit from Malfoy about who he is and shit he can't help. And so I think what Dumbledore's doing, and I have mad respect for him doing it, is he took what could have been an opportunity just to get Harry in trouble again, and he turned it into like a teachable moment. He's sitting on the floor with Harry, bringing him to the same level, literally, and telling him, it's a part of you and that's okay, but don't waste your life away overly concerned with it. And I don't know what insight Dumbledore may have